Thank you for joining us today. We are the Beltway Sports Bros. I'm Matt Vazana, and as always, my brother Noel. Hey, I wanted to say real quick, sorry about Wednesday's show. We had a little technical difficulty. Like Noel's side of the recording didn't record because his laptop was built pre-Y2K. So, thank you for that, Noel.
Actually, I use a typewriter.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Has a HDMI, what are these things called? I don't even know. HDMI cord?
Hey, your side recorded. It's not my fault. You know, I'm Jordan, man. You need that.
Yeah. Well, I love wasting hours upon hours of research and sitting here and talking for an hour and then nothing comes of it. That's cool. Whatever.
It was gold, everyone. I can tell you that. It was gold from my end.
From your, yeah. Can you prove that?
I don't know. Maybe it's somewhere out there on the cloud.
On the cloud. There's no way that your laptop has anywhere even remotely close to the cloud. But we've taken some precautions, so hopefully that doesn't happen again, as you know, backups and things. So we apologize to all four of you who were listening and who missed us. Anyway, let me get through this real quick. Please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the Facebook group. Just search Beltway Sports Bros. You can also find us at beltwaysportsbros.com. Hey, got a pretty popular article out there right now. Go check that out. What did I call it? Is Haskins set up for failure? I believe it is. You know, what's your review on that one?
Oh,
The only one who hasn't read it. Thank you.
No, I read it. It was excellent. Hey, I sent you the edits.
Edits?
Like the editor-in-chief.
Oh,
on
yeah?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Sent
did.
You the edits. I cut and paste.
All you're doing is looking for mess ups on my part. You know, you're not actually
yeah,
enjoying
no content, just strictly, that idiot. He put A in there twice.
Yeah, well, thanks for everybody who's reading it, and thank you, Noel. Appreciate that.
Good read, man. Really, seriously, though. It's an excellent read. I didn't even know you knew that much of the English language, honestly.
I'm full of surprises, you know?
Yeah, you are.
But one last thing, if you're listening to this show right now, which obviously you are, please hit the subscribe or follow button so you don't miss a single episode going forward. All right, so we are going to have the top 5 a little bit later. I think it's going to be a good one. But we're going to do a little preview of the Washington-Cleveland game. The 1-1 Washington football team will travel to Cleveland to play the 1-1 Browns. Last week, Cleveland beat the Bengals on Thursday night 35-30 in a game that wasn't really as close as the score indicated, while Washington got smoked by Arizona 30-15, as we've covered.
Which really wasn't as close as the score indicated.
Very true. This week's game is going to be on Fox at 1 p.m. Hopefully there will be people watching in the D.C. area. Did you hear about these ratings recently?
God, man.
16.5.
What the fuck are people watching?
I don't know.
What's on TV at 1 o'clock on a Sunday?
This is the lowest rating for a week 2 ever.
I mean, what were they watching? The U.S. Open? I mean, I guess.
Maybe.
What the hell were people watching at 1 o'clock? Some infomercial? Weird stuff, man. I don't understand.
I really think it just people have gotten used to not living with sports. You know, people that are non-sports fans or like not fully into it, they're like, I don't really need sports in my life. And also, I think that people are turned off by the no crowds. I think that it affects people more than you would think.
There's that vibe that you get when you see the crowd and the fans going nuts and all that. I can definitely see that. But the way they've dropped, 25% less viewers in week 2 than there was last year. I mean, that's a big drop-off, man.
It really is.
But also the true fan, you would think they'd be coming out in droves to watch these games, and I don't know. I don't know what it is. I guess maybe a lot of their ratings comes from
outside the area.
I'm not sure. But it's not a good sign. And
in all honesty, though, the ratings across the board in the NFL are down. So, but
yeah,
I mean, specifically in the DC area, it's really sad.
Hold on, I thought it was because of the name.
Could be. The other portion is the Black Lives Matter stuff. There's a lot of people turned off by it, but we've seen it in the past, not necessarily with Washington, but NFL in general. It'll come back once you get closer to the end of the season.
Yeah, but the thing is, the NFL is different than watching freaking baseball or watching the NBA or something, or hockey.
No, I know.
NFL is from week 1 on. There's 2 sports that you watch from the beginning because every game is critical. College football and the NFL. Okay, other ones you can take some. I mean, I watch every NBA game, but a lot of people just watch it at the end of the year and they watch the playoffs.
Or like Pop, the last 2 minutes of the game.
The last 2 minutes of the game are the only thing worth a shit, according to him. I mean, you can say that in anything, in life.
Anything. It's the most strangest thing.
The last 2 minutes of my job when I'm ready to have my keys in my hand are the only time it's worth a shit. So, I mean, you can do that with anything. But with the NFL, it's from point A to point B, man. And it's craziness. Anyway.
It's pretty surprising, but, you know, hopefully things turn around. But Cleveland, and this, speaking of surprising, is favored by 7 points in this game.
You're surprised by that?
By 7 points? Absolutely.
I don't think people are that panicky about them getting their ass kicked by the Ravens, and they rebounded against Cincinnati, who sucks. But I think that with Washington having the second worst offensive ranking in the league and just not a very good team in the way they got handled by Arizona last week, I would have said 5, but, you know.
Yeah, well, it would have been 5 if they were in Washington. So,
yeah,
I guess
right.
Anyway, so let's go over the updated injury report as of Thursday.
Real quick.
Yes.
Let me jump in. I was reading something when I was looking at this stuff. Do you realize that the Browns, both teams are 1-1. If they beat Washington this week, it'll be the first time in over 5 years that they've been over 500.
It's crazy.
That is insane. I mean, I knew they sucked. I knew they're one of the worst franchises of all time. But damn, I mean, you didn't go 1-0 or 2-1 once, and then the wheels came off after that. You couldn't get above water for just a split second.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's tough to get your head around.
I want people to put that in perspective as a Washington fan. Yeah, we suck, but shit, man. That is dog shit.
Hey, well, maybe that's something, that'll continue on.
No, Washington is always the team that helps other teams with their records.
All right. Injury report. You got anything else on that?
No, sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. It's all right. So, Washington, let me start with them. Right guard Brandon Sheriff is on the IR and has to sit out a minimum 3 weeks with a sprained MCL. Of course, this is a different IR than we're accustomed to because of COVID. They only have to sit out 3 weeks for this version of IR. So it's expected 3 to 5 weeks, so we'll see. I told you he wasn't out for the year. You said he was done. I knew it.
I saw
Brandon.
The leg go 90 degrees, and I said, this guy's and he weighs 500 pounds. I figured, I'm sorry. I see a leg become an L, and I figured this guy's probably toast. When he had 350 pounds on top of the leg, on top of everything else, it looked like it was about to snap off.
That looked rough. 3rd year in a row on IR.
Honestly, I like Sheriff and all, but I'm done with him, dude.
Should have signed the contract, $55 million.
I know, I'm glad he didn't.
Well, I'm just saying, for his case.
He ain't all that anyway. I hate to say it, but if this team's going in the young direction and all that, vaya con Dios.
Well, not that he's old, but yeah, he's definitely injury prone. So, all right, also on the offensive line, right tackle Morgan Moses is questionable with a hip injury, but he's expected to play. The guy's always injured, but always plays through it. Backup tackle Sadiq Charles is questionable with a thigh injury. He has not been active the first 2 games. Linebacker Cole Holcomb is questionable with a knee. He's been held out of practice, so it doesn't look good for him. And I think we're actually going to have Kendall Fuller play in this game. He is probable, and Jesus has risen.
No, yeah. Clamoring for the slot corner. No, I hope he does well, man. They need all the help they can get.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's like we were waiting for Dan Marino to come out of the tunnel. I mean, give me a break. If he's a slot corner, we need help there. I hope he's healthy and serviceable.
I just wanted to make it clear. He is a cornerback, not a quarterback. Okay, I just wanted to make that clear.
I was just saying a high-profile dude coming out of the tunnel.
I know. I'm just kidding. All right. So on Cleveland's side, cornerback Denzel Ward is questionable with a groin injury. Center J.C. Treader is questionable with a knee and hasn't practiced. Cornerback Greedy Williams is also questionable with a shoulder injury and hasn't played yet this year. Defensive end Adrian Claiborne is questionable with a hip and left the Bengals game early last week, so probably doesn't look good for him. Defensive end Olivier Vernon is questionable as well, and he did not play last week. A lot of questions, a lot of questionables, question marks all over the place.
It's the nature of the beast this season so far. It's week 2. It's still kind of preseason-ish, and guys are getting hammered. It's the way it's going to be all year.
Yeah, and we talked about it before. I mean, they don't have a regular offseason. There's going to be more injuries, and hey, at least 0 COVID cases, miraculously. Still don't believe that shit, but anyway. All right. Well, let's start with Washington offense versus the Cleveland defense, shall we?
Let's do it.
What are your thoughts on that?
Protection. Initially, that's what has to happen. Christian has yet another matchup with Myles Garrett, potentially, or if he swaps to the other side with Moses, God help us, with both of those guys, that Haskins needs to have time. And this is all predicated on how they can run the ball and how they can protect Haskins. If those two things don't happen, it's going to be a long day, man.
The Browns had 3 sacks last week. Myles Garrett is a monster. So you got to worry about him, like you mentioned. He had a sack, 2 QB hits last week. Sheldon Richardson looked like a monster in that last game. And I know the Bengals defense or Bengals offensive line isn't great. Their whole team kind of sucks. And like we talked about before, the Cardinals, when they played the 49ers, they're a divisional rival. So you can't put a lot of stock in these games. But I think...
Well, let's get something straight here. If Washington comes close to throwing the ball 60 freaking times, we got major problems.
Oh, please.
Major problems. I cannot believe, and I watched some of that game, that he was just throwing, and they weren't successful running the ball. And we've got to do a better job of that. We've got to do something off the play action every once in a while. Get Gibson rolling a little bit. Help that situation out, and that will aid the offensive line, and it's definitely going to help Haskins.
Well, I mean, McKissick played well, too, last
absolutely.
week. And, I mean, Gibson played pretty well, 13 rushes, 55 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, and he looks the part. I know that they got down very quickly, and it's very difficult to run the ball when you do that, but they've just got to not make mistakes. I mean, if you really think about it, and I was listening to an interview with Rivera, you're talking about the muffed punt, the fumble after the interception in Arizona territory, and also when Haskins got sacked to put them out of field goal range. At minimum, you're looking at 9 points right there. Game could have been completely different. They need to just not do that. I mean, because this team's just not that talented. They can't afford to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, no team can, but especially this one.
Well, no, that's what I mean.
I don't give a damn who runs the ball. I personally don't, but they need to be productive on the ground. Unfortunately, against the Bengals, I mean, Dixon only had 46 yards. They shut down the running game. But you have to stay with it to a certain extent and get drives rolling. Get to the line fast. Roll on some play action. Relieve that offensive line from getting hammered by the Garretts of the world. And see if there's a couple plays downfield to alleviate some of that. Beyond that, Washington should be okay if they can establish something, some type of consistency in some area, whether it be play action, whether it be moving the pocket, running the ball, whatever it is. Stick to a game plan.
Yeah, and from all accounts, their offense is basically, or at least their passing offense is basically high school level. And it may be on Haskins that he just hasn't figured out this offense yet. Apparently the running offense is a little bit more complicated, but it's so simplistic. Any idiot can see the only thing that was working were slant passes over and over and over again. And Haskins had 2 passes over 10 yards in that game that were in the air. So he's got to just let it loose and say, fuck it, and see what happens. If he throws a pick 50 yards down the field, what's the difference?
Who gives a damn?
That's a punt.
Right. This nickel and dime bullshit and these quick 3 and outs on third, -9 yards and crap. Hammer home. Keep it simple, stupid, which they're doing anyway.
Yeah.
Try to get somebody else involved in the action. Throw a couple balls to Logan Thomas. Make a couple streakers. Or how about Steven Sims?
Yeah.
I mean, shit, man. This guy's supposed to be a speed demon. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
They need to do more like jet sweeps to him. They need to do those quick screen passes. I mean, they did a
RPOs, something.
They did a screen pass to him, and he got like 20, 30 yards on that.
Right.
So I mean, just get him involved. He's one of the few weapons you actually have on this offense.
This is what you wanted, you guys. This is what they wanted. These fucking Swiss Army knives that can do everything. And we've talked about this before. The jack of all trades shit, master of none. And it's like they're not even trying. They're not even utilizing these guys. I mean, is there any reason why Gibson can't be put out on the flat and dump him off the ball? Like I said last week, 1 pass to the running backs when he is getting eviscerated and on the ground. They had 4 sacks against Haskins. There are so many ways to alleviate pressure on this guy in this shitty offensive line. Just do it. I'm not talking about complexity here. I'm talking about give it to your weapons, for God's sakes, and not just McLaurin.
Well, I think Haskins is a big problem here, and he admitted as much. So did Rivera. He's not playing very well, quite frankly, and there are things that are open apparently, and he's not hitting them, and he's not moving through his progressions.
I totally agree with you, but there are ways to alleviate and take the pressure off of him. I watched game week 1 versus week 2 where some teams came out a little bit pass heavy, a little bit rusty offensively, and what they do, ground and pound. And pound. Indianapolis. The Browns. I mean, shit, they ran the ball for freaking over 200 yards. They almost had 2 guys over 100 yards each. That's what they went to.
They tried to do that, though, and no, they did. In a flash, they were down 20-0.
I still think if you have no remnants of offense, you still need to do your shit. If you lose At least it's a learning process. They learned nothing from this game offensively. Nothing.
They can throw a lot of slant passes effectively.
Right. They learned nothing offensively from this game.
In my opinion, teams are going to start taking that away from you. Start that shit out the gate until it stops working.
Yeah.
Instead of going slants, you just go deep.
Well, getting to it, as far as the offense versus the defense, I think our offense is going to have some serious issues.
Oh, they're going to have issues against everybody.
Yeah.
But all right, let's move on to Washington defense versus the Cleveland offense. So Cleveland's offense, even though, again, they played the Bengals and on Thursday night, which, again, is not a good indicator in general. I mean, those are always wacky games because of the amount of time that they have to prep and all that stuff. But, I mean, when you got Chubb and Kareem Hunt, they were pretty good last week, and they're probably the best running back tandem in the league. Chubb had 124 yards last week, 2 TDs. Hunt had 86, 8.67 yards per carry.
Yeah, he ran the ball 10 times.
Yeah,
Ran the ball as many times as Gibson did. But he was the second running back.
Second. So Bengals defense is trash, but still, and this is a little skewed because of Kyler Murray, but Washington gave up 160 yards on the ground last week.
Seriously skewed, though.
I know, it's skewed, but facts are facts. But I'm actually looking forward to this one because they've got players on their offense, the Browns do, but I'm more excited about this because it's a more traditional offense. Yeah, Baker Mayfield does run around a little bit, but not like Kyler Murray. So I think we're going to see something a little bit closer to what we saw against the Eagles. So, hopefully that's the case. But I'm not as concerned about Cleveland's offense as I was Arizona's.
Shit. I beg to differ, sir.
All right.
I mean, at the end of the day, if they can't stop the running game, which has Chubb and Hunt, they've got some serious freaking problems, okay? Here it is. Baker Mayfield is at his best, which isn't a lot these days. But he is at his best off the play action, okay?
Right.
Leaps and bounds over anything else that he does. So if they are running the ball, and Washington has not been tested as far as a true effort to run the ball. They played the Eagles and they played the Cardinals, who have Drake, but like you said, they have a running quarterback, a little bit different of an animal.
Yeah.
This is going to be a situation where there is going to be a concerted effort by the Browns to run the ball, okay? So Washington has not been tested in that facet, and in past seasons, they haven't shown up against the run very well. So this is going to be their first test on that. And if the Browns run remotely close to how they did against the Bengals, Washington is screwed. Because then you open up shit for Beckham, then you open up stuff for Landry, and you know who's going to have a coming out party this game? The guy the Washington wanted to have.
Austin Hooper.
He hasn't done shit in the first 2 games. Believe me, he's my backup tight end on my fantasy team, so I know.
Oh, you're rooting for him, huh? You're one of those guys.
No, he's on my bench. I've got Higbee.
Yeah, that's why I don't watch the games with you. You're all fans.
I'm that guy. Yeah, come on. He's going to have a coming out party on Sunday. I'm calling it. And that's if the Browns can run the ball. If they can. Now, if Washington can stop the running game, they can be a serious problem for Mayfield. Serious issue.
Oh, yeah. You're right. This is their real first test to stop a real running team. And I think they're going to do well with it. I really do. I think that even if they do start throwing the ball, I think Moreau, he's got a 0.0 passer rating against him right now. Pretty good. And I think he'll be able to neutralize Beckham, hopefully. And then you've got Kendall Fuller coming back, so hopefully Moreland won't be playing as much because, we saw what happened last week when he played a 98-year-old man. So
they'll just put him on Hooper maybe this game.
Oh, yeah. What is he, 5'8"?
Yeah.
Just get boxed out. But I don't know. I'm pretty confident about this defense against this offense. I don't know why. I just feel like we've got the pieces that can neutralize their best pieces.
The one thing I would say is this. I think it's going to be an all-or-nothing game, and that's how the Browns play it. And it's all predicated on how Baker Mayfield is comfortable. He could have one of those games where he is head on a swivel the whole time, Chase Young is breathing down his neck, sweat's all over the place, and he throws 3 picks. Like I said, but if they run the ball and he starts to feel comfortable and he does that quick play action, he is an egomaniac, this guy.
You don't say.
And if it's a situation where he starts feeling comfortable, all of a sudden he gets a play action and Beckham is down the field, he connects on that, it could be a long, long day. And he might only get that one pass to Beckham the entire day, ironically enough, but it'll be just enough to get this arrogant fuck confidence to start playing well.
You think it'll be on Apke's side?
Well, I mean, no, it could be a streak down the middle for Hooper when Collins is trying to cover him.
Very true. All right. Well, you got anything else on the offense versus defense there?
Last thing I want to say is this. Even though we both have criticized the D-backs to a certain extent, and even the Apkes of the world, their defensive backfield has actually played marginally well. And yes, that's based on a lot of the defensive line play. But still, they've been serviceable. They've kept quarterback ratings down. Kyler Murray didn't kill it in the air.
He killed it on the ground more than anything.
No, I know, but we're talking about the passing game right now.
I know.
Again, if they can keep the running manageable, I think that this defensive backfield, especially with Fuller back, can be serviceable and make him have to go to different options, which could be great because that means the D-line's getting to him.
You know, last thing, look at Baker Mayfield. I mean, he's completing 59% of his passes, 208 yards a game. I mean, he's not who they thought he was. He's on a short leash as well. This is his last year if he doesn't show up. So I think they're going to destroy this punk. And you know, like you said, he's a piece of shit. You didn't say that exact thing, but he is. You know, he's an egomaniac.
Is that a paraphrase or?
Egomaniacs, no egomaniacs. You know them well. So hopefully they just start hitting him hard, hitting him early, and get him out of his game so he doesn't get comfortable. And I think they're going to do that. So let's get into a prediction, shall we?
Okay. So you seem pretty confident in that segue, so you go ahead. You make the prediction first.
Okay. I truly believe that Washington, and I said this before, ran into a buzzsaw in Arizona. I don't think that they really knew what they were getting into with that. They weren't ready. It would have been much better to play them later in the season, I think. You know, more film on them and all that. And I just think the Browns are a much more manageable offense to deal with. You've got Baker Mayfield, who is mobile, but not mobile like Murray is. And, you know, you got some weapons, but I don't think that they're world beaters. And I think Washington's going to win 24-17.
Wow. Holy shit.
To highlight something, I believe that we're going to get a touchdown on defense to put things over the top this time because...
Like a pick six or something?
I think pick six, and it's going to be by Kendall Fuller.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, very specific there.
Mark it.
Yeah, mark it down.
Been wrong about every game so far, so let's keep it rolling. I got to be right at some point.
Well, my faith in the Washington offense is not that much that they could put up that kind of points against Cleveland. I think that the defense will keep them respectable because the Cleveland offensive line can be suspect at times, which is the usual. Like I said, the defensive line is always going to be the one that keeps them in games, that keeps it respectable to a certain extent until they get gassed. This offense, look, you keep saying that we ran into a buzzsaw against Kyler Murray and Arizona's offense. Did the offense run into a buzzsaw with Arizona's defense? Or like there's some glamorous thing that we just didn't realize what type of defense they play?
No, I think that they made mistakes. I think that if they keep those mistakes to a minimum, I mean, they got the special teams fumble. That shit never happens, right? I mean, that's something that is an aberration. It's not going to happen probably till next year again. You know, you've got that horrible sack that Haskins took him out of field goal range, like I mentioned.
No, I get all that.
I'm saying these are things they can learn from.
They came into that game completely unprepared. You're equating and you're cherry picking certain locations in the game that, yes, made a difference, and the game could have been somewhat different. That doesn't take away from the fact that they had a total of 45 yards in their first 5 drives.
Understood.
I mean,
understood. But you're also talking about an offense and an entire team that has a new coaching staff, had no offseason.
Hey, we can sit here and the knee bone's connected to the dick bone all day long.
But it is true. And
the fact of the matter is they got their ass kicked in that game and the offense looks inept. Here's my prediction, okay?
Go ahead.
The Browns are going to win 27-14. Washington is going to be down yet again. The defense is going to keep them into the game manageable initially, but there's going to be a couple too many big plays that Browns are going to have a big play or two that's going to be the difference. I don't think Baker Mayfield is going to be the difference maker like Murray was, but I think he's going to do just enough more than what Haskins will do offensively to counteract that.
That's a bold prediction there.
Well, your bold prediction is that they're going to put up that many points and beat the Browns. That's the bold prediction.
No, they're going to put up 17 points on offense. They're going to score on 7 on defense.
Oh, I see. And maybe a punt return too, right?
No,
Sims is going to redeem himself.
Hey, that'd be nice.
Well, hey, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see that I'm wrong.
Okay. All right, now it's time, Noel. It's time for what you've all been waiting for.
Boom! Hope my audio's working, everyone.
Yeah, no kidding. You're recording over there, right? Everything's good. All right. Today's installment will be top 5 reasons you are forced to record sports.
This is starting to become a real theme here with this.
Well, this is a real problem for many people, right? And it's basically has to do with whoever it is. I'm not going to name names or people that may pull you away. He named names. Seinfeld. All right. If your wife potentially wants you to do something during a game, not necessarily NFL, any particular game that you're talking about that you find important.
Right, a situation that you get screwed and you can't watch the game live because you have to do other bullshit.
Right.
Basically, that's the bottom line of it, and then you get pulled away and you have to DVR it or watch it like in a dark room somewhere at the wee hours of the night because you couldn't watch it like a normal human being.
Exactly. So let me say this before I get started. I am a fan of the NFL over college football. So I take the hit on Saturday. Basically, I just say, okay, Saturday is a day that I am giving myself to whoever. It's really
giving myself.
It's really just a preemptive strike for Sunday.
Yeah, preparation for Sunday. I understand.
I'm taking the hit, and, I'll do whatever I need to do.
This is for all sports, though.
Yes. But I'm just making it clear, during football season, that's how I roll.
Sure.
All right, let's do this, Noel. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is family get-togethers.
Oh, okay.
I love my family, and we're talking about not just immediate family. We're talking about you guys and
extended family,
parents, in-laws, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But why does it seem like when there's family gatherings, it always has to be right at the moment that I want to watch a freaking game? Like, oh, yeah, we're setting it up for 2 o'clock. Oh, you mean like 45 minutes into kickoff. Awesome. I mean, football games have only been going on for 100 years at 1 p.m. I mean, it's like people don't know all of a sudden. They don't know that Sundays at 1 o'clock are a time when there's football. So anyway, what do you have to do? You have to record the game, or, the place that you go doesn't have the ticket or doesn't have the game that you want to watch, so you have to record it on your home television. And then you go over to this place and you're not looking at your phone the whole time. Don't know what your fantasy team is doing.
Can't look at the ticker at the bottom of the TVs. And then you always find yourself like looking up. And then magically, for me anyway, I always seem to hit. I'd forget sometimes because you're always just looking at the TV. And I always seem to hit when my game comes up. It never fails. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right. So I'll tell them, and you're there sometimes like, Pop, please don't put the game on. Don't say anything about it. Put cartoons on the TV. I don't care. Keep the kids busy for the 4 hours that we're here. So we're done dinner or lunch in this case. And all of a sudden you hear on the TV and you're like, you've got to be kidding me. Pop, I'm recording the game. Oh, I want to watch football too. I'm like, dude, I said preemptively when I walked in the door, please don't have the game on because I have to be here. I don't have to be, but I'm here because you all scheduled it for this time. And now I can't even watch my game when I get home.
No, I've been there and it's a problem for sure. But anyway, I'm not going to dive into that any further. I'll let you take the hit on that one.
Hey, it's how it is. It's worth getting the bruscioli, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
As long as it was made that day.
Yeah.
Mom, we'll try to pass that off as the day of.
All right, move on.
Anyway, we'll move on from...
What's your 5?
My 5 is family outings. Now, I'm talking about immediate family outings. Well, I had a situation just last Saturday, for instance. I was informed that we would be apple picking, okay?
God.
This actually happened. I was told that it was 40 minutes away. Then I put it in the GPS, and it ended up being 2 hours and 10 minutes away.
Oh, that's close.
Well, because certain people knew there...
What are you looking at, a map from, like, Columbus?
I didn't know where it was. And when we know that the car is packed up and all the hard parts done with getting, 7...
God, that caravan that you bring along.
Yeah, it's no joke.
Go ahead.
Drove 2 hours, and actually it ended up being about 3 hours because it was up in the mountains. And there was one lane. So we were sitting on the mountain for, no exaggeration, another hour. I wanted to murder everybody in the car. So then we go apple picking, get some lovely apples, and
yeah, you can't find those at the grocery store.
No, not
get
right.
Those.
Not right off the tree.
Yeah,
and
not off there. Ain't no spray on those.
It was fine. And to talk about the game that I missed, my USF Notre Dame game, which was...
Oh, you missed a big one there.
So instead of sitting there for 3 hours and just getting obliterated. I fast-forwarded through it was roughly 20 minutes of fast-forwarding, and I was about done with it. But
oh, yeah. You didn't know that the game was going to be a blowout.
No, of course not.
You knew that the entire time. You're like, USF's playing Notre Dame, and I'm here picking an apple that I could have gone to Food Lion to get.
Avoiding my phone.
Yeah, avoiding your phone, except, no notifications off because you got your GPS up, and like this whole dance.
I did get a text from somebody and said, you watching this game? And then automatically I think they're getting the shit kicked out of them. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad.
To go apple picking. Did you get a little apple cider there too?
No. We actually got a lovely apple pie, and I'm telling you, it was the greatest apple pie I've ever.
Well, good.
And we stood in line for probably 45 minutes to get that. Also a caramel apple, which was unbelievable as well.
Oh,
the
man.
freshest apple you'll ever have.
Those organic apples, man. Did they make their own caramel too?
I would hope so. It tasted like
good.
it. All right.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. What's your number 4?
Oh, man, having to do freaking, you put shit off and you put chores off and grass is getting long and you know that there's an event on that you want to do and you're like, God, you have to measure the importance of one event versus the other and you got to get it done. But here's the real one, though. And I'll usually manage my time pretty well with like mowing the grass or doing bullshit. The Christmas lights.
Oh, jeez.
The Christmas lights, there ain't no managing that. There's not like, okay, Saturday I'll do this and then Sunday I'll watch the game. These lights, and I'll blame myself.
It's absolutely your fault. Nobody expects you.
It's manifested itself into this monster. It takes me weekends. I mean, I'm out there and anybody comes outside to ask me a goddamn question when I'm doing the lights. I give the death stare. I mean, somebody could drop dead from the way that I look at them when I'm like teetering on the roof. Like, Daddy, where's the such and such? And I'm like dangling off of a fucking light. And know that I'm missing games inside or not being able to invest in that day of sports just sucks. And the finished product is good, but man, it takes weeks.
Well, you're an idiot. You make fun of me for like the half-ass.
You might as well not put lights up at all. Give me a break. You put like a strand on your fucking porch or like that strand that looks like it was thrown up onto a bush. Just don't put anything up.
Yeah, I did much better last year, but it didn't take me like 3 weeks like it did for you. It's past Christmas by the time you get done with the damn thing.
No. I start Thanksgiving, sir.
Oh, well, that's good.
But Christmas Eve, they're perfect.
I feel like lesser of a man or something because when I go see your house and I'm like,
it's like whoa when you come over.
Griswold over here, idiot.
You do. It's okay. It's an inferiority complex. It's fine when you see those beasts.
I could care less. I just feel like I'm like, I don't know, my kids think lesser of me or something because I put.
They do.
Yeah, I don't get in a goddamn 50-foot ladder. What a moron.
No, but it does suck to have to DVR my games and and have to watch them after I busted my ass all day and go out there. But hey, for the kids, man, for the kids.
Kids. All right. All right, my number 4 is chores as well. I think we'll put that under the same category, I guess. It's just little fucking... I don't do big things. I just do a lot of little things, Projects like, putting a shelf up or putting a bed together that my wife decides to find on fucking Facebook, whatever, that somebody's selling something and I got to like go to some random idiot's house and go pick it up and then got to put it together and then I put it together backwards because there's no directions because it's used or... whatever it is, or she goes to Goodwill and finds some chair that I need to fucking...
And of course it's at like 11:30 on a Sunday. Like, look what I got. Like, and you look at her like, don't worry, I'm going to do it myself. And then all of a sudden you hear that voice because it's too heavy or whatever at 12:15. Matt, could you come in here? Or, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's
that's an investment in time.
Or sanding something. Whatever it is. Just garage is full of that shit. Projects that'll never be completed.
Right.
That's my life. But anyway, all right, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is another one that I'm probably somewhat responsible for, but I'll blame others. Is kids' soccer games.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my daughter's on a traveling soccer team, and I coach my son's soccer team. It's a soccer bonanza.
Yeah.
So during the soccer season, we got tournaments and stuff, and I coach games on the weekend. So I have to record games sometimes, and you'll text me sometimes like, hey, game, whatever. I'm like, no, I'm coaching. This is the part that bothers me and why I put this on the list. And it's not because I'm coaching, because, hey, it's my choice. It's the fact that these fucking geek dads, not my team, not the team I coach. I love you dads.
They're the coolest dads ever.
They're the coolest dads, but they always want to have like, hey, just like if I'm wearing a Washington football team hat or something, hey, so big game today. You see that pass? And I'm like,
my God.
Dude, what are you doing? I'm here right now. Yeah. Just because you're like looking at your fantasy team and you saw the score, like, hey, what about like, what are you coming up to?
But those
me
are the guys
for?
who don't give a shit.
I know.
They don't care. Like, obviously, you don't care about this, whatever game you're watching, or even have a team. And yeah, it falls back to our last two top fives, those scumbags that just fuck up the game for you.
They're not doing it to fuck.
They're not
with
doing
you.
it maliciously.
They're trying to like make conversation and be cool. And like, hey, so man, tough loss last week, but they're looking better right now. Like, what the hell? What are you doing, man? Are they? Thanks. I'm here coaching your little fucking brat on the field. It's like picking grass. And you're coming up to me giving me an earful about Washington or, what the Wizards are doing that day when we're at practice. Like, give me a break, man. Leave me alone. I'm coaching your freaking bratty kid. Go sit in the car or whatever. Take a respite for an hour while I take care of your kid.
Evan's flag football games, for some reason, were on Sundays during every Redskins game.
It's football, Matt.
Well,
Big
it's football. It's got to be on Sunday.
Yeah.
I've literally never missed a game. Those were the first times that I've ever had to miss a game was to see him play. You don't know the lengths, Noel, that I've gone to not miss games. You do, but I would lie and say that I tutor children on Sunday. I mean, like, I would come up with some shit.
Right. I know.
And I always made my way out. I've never missed a game. And this was the first time. Luckily, they won 3 games last year. I recorded it, but it's just not the same.
Father of the year over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lord, like you're at the flag football game the entire time. You're like, when the hell is this shit going to be over so I can watch maybe the second half of the Washington game live?
Maybe,
Sack.
yeah. It was always exactly the same time. Who schedules these things? Fucking idiot.
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
All right, well, my number 3 is kids' birthday parties. Why, parents, do you always have birthday parties on Saturday or Sunday at 1, 2, or 3 in the afternoon? Why?
It's a power move.
It's always by the woman, by the wife.
It's a power move.
And for some reason, I have to go. I don't always go. If they're playing during a Washington games are off limits, but every other sport is not. It's all fair game. I can always record that, whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, to other people in my household, they don't think it's important. But sometimes when you work all week or do 3 fucking podcasts a week or whatever it is, you want to sit on your ass and do nothing. And that's just never an option for me. And birthday parties are the worst.
So are you talking about your own kids' birthday parties or just birthday parties in general?
No. Other kids' birthday parties.
Why are you going to other kids' birthday parties? Are you out of your damn mind?
Because I know the parents and, you'll like this guy. He likes football too. And,
all right. I get going to your own kids because you're not, I mean.
Oh, yeah, going to my own child's birthday party?
Yeah, going to your own child's flag football team, game and your own kid's birthday party, for God's sakes. But some other bratty kid's birthday party to, like, stand around and watch them run around and jump into balls or jump on a trampoline?
Well, Kristen used to work on Saturdays. I literally was going to a birthday party every other week, and I'm not exaggerating.
That's you. Just like with me with the Christmas lights, that's on you. And look, like, I'm changing the real quick here.
Okay.
Baby showers. Ugh. When did men start going to baby showers?
I don't know.
Why would women want them to go and why would guys want to go? And they do them on Sunday at 1 p.m. because it's a power move.
They want to control every facet of your being. I've never been to a baby shower in my life.
Really?
I can honestly say that. I haven't.
Holy shit.
I refuse.
You put your foot down.
Well, there's just certain things you can't do. And
have you gone to a reveal one?
I have been to a reveal.
Oh my God.
But those are usually like at night or something. I don't know.
Are they?
I've only been to one, and it was at night.
That justifies it because it was at prime time.
Well, if it's not affecting.
You're pathetic.
All right, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is another one that I have not have done, but I think is absolutely ridiculous, is shopping with the wife or girlfriend during the weekend during sporting events. Mm-hmm. I'll go out, and this is the reason why I know this, because you, and also
what
because
do you mean?
I go to stores, I'll rush out, get something at the store, and you just see, and you go into the store real quick. You're like, all right, I'm just going to grab this. I'll be back before the game. And you go into these stores, and it's like a graveyard of broken men.
It is.
And you see these guys, and they're standing there watching this woman sift through a rack of shit that nobody cares about. And you're like, dude, that motherfucker's going to be here a long time. And you go in to like grab, I don't know, deodorant and run out of the damn place. And you know he could see you with like the football hat on, the cap on. You're like, he envies you. And it feels good because you have a sense of like, I'm the alpha in the situation, and that guy's just, God, man, that's just sad. It's sad. Now, that being said, if it's a young guy that is still trying to, I don't know, for the sake of another word, get some, okay, I'll give him a pass because he has to put in his time. But some guy that's already, been with this woman for an extended period of time or a girlfriend, I mean, dude, let the man watch his damn football game live, please.
Yeah, well, okay. That's
Go ahead, Matt.
That's my number 2 as well. And I don't really have to deal with this anymore. Thank you, COVID, for all the help there. But a couple positives coming out of there. But I have. It's just all a part of that family Saturday. One way or the other. Sometimes the trip might go to Hobby Lobby, and then I get the sales pitch that, there could be stuff there for your man cave. Or whatever, and I've been in Hobby Lobby
like the
for
Bed Bath & Beyond scene in Old School.
Absolutely, it totally is. Going to Lowe's
sad.
or whatever. Hey, don't give me that shit. First of all, how many Costco trips have you made on a Saturday?
I maneuver that around because that's something that I want to do. I like going to Costco. I'm not being dragged to Costco or going to check out high heels. That's a big freaking difference. Or going to freaking Hobby Lobby to look at a frame. I really don't I'm like, what do you think? Do you think this color goes with Andrew's crib? Like, I don't do that shit. I go to Costco to, like, look at the freaking, electronics and shit like that.
Oh,
but
so
that's a big freaking difference.
Well,
huge, immense difference.
Fine.
Immense.
I'm just saying, we're acting like, you never go anywhere with your wife and shop or anything. And you only do it on a Wednesday night when there's no sports on. Give me a fuck. Look, we all have to do it. It's yeah.
We all have.
I know.
We all have made concessions. I've gone out in certain situations. You have to DVR games. My point is that there's no reason for a guy to have to go to a freaking boutique with his wife or girlfriend on a Saturday afternoon when college football is going on, or a Sunday afternoon when there's NFL on.
Well,
there's no reason for them to be DVRing a game during those circumstances.
I will say this. So I have the Washington football team block, which is roughly 3 hours, right? And I can almost hear like zombies on the outside of my door, like knowing that it's like, how much time is left? I'll start to hear like rumblings. It's like, and you start hearing like scratching.
Yeah, like,
The nerves start. I'm like, oh my God, I actually have to start doing something. I can't just sit here and watch the 4 o'clock games. God for fucking bid.
Yeah.
Time to get back to work.
Yeah, yep. You had your fun. It's like the sun is going down and like the werewolves are about to come out. Got to board up the windows.
Andrew will explode into my room like, how much time, Daddy? And I'm like, who sent you in here? That's the real question. How do you even know there's time in a game?
Yeah, right.
Get the fuck out of here. All right.
So good.
All right. Last one. Last but not least, first, whatever you want to call it. What's your number 1, Noel?
Having to watch games later in the evening after all the little ones have settled in, and watching like neutral shows during standard hours when the Wizards game is on at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday or whatever it is, and you end up having to watch freaking Dancing with the Stars or some shit.
Oh, you love that show.
I've been sucked into it because I'm trying to have quality time. So, yeah.
Real quick. Okay, everybody knows the intro to this show, correct?
Yeah.
I didn't even know what the fuck Noel was talking about. He sent me that clip. That's the Italian guy, like the judge or whatever. And he's talking about Josh
Norman was on there. Yeah, man.
And Noel fought so hard to put that on there. I was like, nobody's going to know who the fuck that is or where it came from.
Somebody does. If you know who it is, please.
I didn't. because I've never watched that show once, because I'm a man.
I end up getting it. These shows were never in my wildest dreams would I have ever thought. And I'm sure you were shocked when you're like, wow, you're watching Dancing with the Stars? Or like,
you've tried to sell it to me before. It's really not that bad, Matt.
Or America's Got Talent, like shows like that. My point is,
I like America's Got Talent.
My point is that I'm watching these shows and I'm having to DVR my game and wait until everybody is nestled in their beds and I have to watch the game at fucking midnight or whatever because I'm watching neutral shows with the family. Now, you know, I might sound like a horrible person, but hey, I'd like to watch the show after I have a hard day at work. I eat my food, I sit down like a normal human being, and I'd like to watch the game live every once in a while. Instead of having to freaking watch some show, I could get some reality show or some crap like that, and I'd like to watch my game live. It's gotten better over time, but those are situations that I'm saying that I don't want to have to DVR my game all the time.
Well, in credit to you, you've gotten Lindsay to apparently enjoy Wizards games now.
Absolutely. She is a hardcore fan now, man.
Yeah.
At first, and I'm anti-watching games with anyone. I'll tell you, she pushed her way in, and she started watching games. And, man, she's an avid fan. She knows her shit now, man. She knows her stuff. And, you know, it started out small, little dumb questions here and there, and I'm looking over like...
Yeah, but that's different. 82 games,
yeah,
that's totally different. If you're doing that for 16 games, you got a problem. But if you can, you know, get like 10, 15 games in, you start figuring it out, it's not that bad.
Yeah. You know, you look over and you're like, you're not sure if this is going to work or not. You know, I don't know if this is going to click.
Yeah,
but
right.
yeah, it did. So yeah, now we can start watching games and we come into the room live and the kids go, I don't know, run around in the street somewhere. Good time. See, you got to mold a mat. Come on, man.
No, well, hey, we talked about it before. That's one problem I don't have.
Right.
Is that,
amazingly enough, you don't.
well, thank God for cell phones, you know, because without that, I wouldn't be able to watch whatever I wanted. And I've made that very clear. Every TV in this house is mine. Whatever turns on, deal with it. And it's worked out to my favor. I don't know how that's worked, but it has. All right. So finishing things off, my number one, and there's nothing worse, absolutely nothing worse than this. Family fucking pictures. And every guy can relate to this that has to take family pictures. You're never going to do it during the week. It's always Saturday or Sunday, mid-afternoon, because of lighting or whatever. You got to dress the kids. You know, you get matching outfits or whatever that you'll never wear again. There's literally nothing worse, probably other than dying.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. It is the worst day of the year. It's the worst day of the year. I dread it. Kristen will tell me we've got it set up for 2 weeks. And I know it's coming in the fall. It's coming any day. This is the time that it's coming.
That first leaf that falls off the tree. You know that it's coming.
The kids don't want to be there. I don't want to be there.
Nobody wants to be there.
It's always like misty on the ground, and so I get these uncomfortable positions. Your knees are soaking wet. Your ass is soaking wet. And you got to have this stupid smile. Nobody ever smiles at the same time.
Action shots.
Yeah, you're running around with leaves flying everywhere like you're having a good time. And all you're thinking about is, I just want to sit home and watch a fucking game. But I'm here in some godforsaken field with some beat up fucking shed behind you or whatever.
Like a rusty tractor.
Yeah, that we're going to need a tetanus shot for after Andrew scratches his face on it. Just leave me the fuck alone.
We did that a few times early on. You guys have stuck with it. You're like Lou Gehrig when it comes to that shit, man.
We didn't do it last year, and I still hear about it.
Oh, man.
Because luckily the weather was terrible, like for 3 weeks in a row, and I was like, I don't know.
Sorry, I don't know.
And then eventually it just kind of faded away.
Yeah, just died a natural death.
And I still hear about it. But
it's your fault that it rained and the weather was shitty?
I know. It's my number's getting called, though.
You know, hey, it's still a work in progress. Thank goodness for DVRs. It could have been like VHS.
Oh, God.
When I had to tape Pop's games and make sure that it was on SP or LP. And, you know, as soon as I got old enough where I knew how to press buttons, Mom pawned that off on me. So Pop would come home, make sure that game was recorded, boy, that soccer game. And those timing it and making sure the time on the VHS. So at least we got DVRs. But that was an experience in itself. So at least we have that. I wish we could just watch games live like we used to back when we were kids. We watch 12 hours of freaking sports a day, do it all. Obviously, times change. We got more responsibilities, but every once in a while, throw a dog a bone.
At least I have my Washington games. I can live with everything else. At least I have that. It's sad but true. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode, Noel.
On that note,
as sad as it is, we're on all major podcast platforms. Please rate, review, and subscribe. If you like this show, please share it on social media. Again, please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and the Facebook group, and also the website, beltwaysportsbros.com. Hope you guys enjoy the game. Hope we all are able to enjoy the game, and we will see you on Monday.